Welcome to Sister Chats Refined. We've created a space for real conversations and a place where we can all be seen, heard, and most importantly, inspired. I'm Joy.
And I'm Liz, and we're letting you into our everyday conversations so you're going to get some of this sister energy. So whether you need
a big sis
or a little sis, we got you.
Hey, we're back.
Hey, guys.
Another episode of Sister Chats Refined, where today we're going to dig into a little bit of just a day in the life of being a mom, wife, all the good stuff, yes. Friends, sisters, you name it. That's what we're going to get into today.
Mm-hmm.
How you doing, Liz?
I'm doing good.
Good. I got real official with that. How you doing, Liz? So we left off, and I think this is really good. We left off on our last episode with you talking about how you were a single mother, not just a single mother, but a teenage single mother. Yes. And so we look at the Liz now, and we're just like, whew, like that was quite the start. And then now you're like this superstar mom of five, my beautiful niece and nephews. And so I want to talk a little bit about that journey. What was that like for you, like to be 18 and pregnant with your first child?
Well, it was definitely like I said,
I know that sigh was like,
it was definitely different because I went from caring only about myself to really being like reckless at that age, having to like reprogram my mind to care about someone else.
Yeah.
And to actually really care about the life that I lived because this little person depended on me solely. So I say that, I know like a lot of people, they cliche, they're like, that's my heart, that's my world, you changed my life.
How they say it?
That's my heart, that's my world, you changed my life. But seriously, like, McKenna, she flipped the script on me.
Real quick.
This is the one y'all be saying, he saved my life.
Why they have to sound like that?
Because that's how anytime I read it, that's how I feel like. I don't care who it comes from. That's how I feel like it says. But seriously, she took my life and made me know that it was worth something, if that makes any sense. Not that I felt like I was worthless. I didn't, have low self-esteem or anything like that. But I was living in a way that I thought that, YOLO. YOLO.
Yeah.
And I was living it like I didn't care about that I had that to live. So she really did change the direction of my mindset.
Right.
I had an amazing support system.
Yeah.
So when I had McKenna, I was working like 3 jobs, I think. I started working 3 jobs. I was in college, but that didn't work out right there. And then I went to hair school. Y'all, I did a couple different schools. And I just want to say this, these student loans are out of control, okay? I have one more year to finish in college, and I'm paying like I have like 4 degrees. That is my fault. But at the end of the day, it was my support system that really changed that for me. Like, so being a single mom, it had its moments of being like, oh man, this absolutely sucks.
Right.
But because my support system was so big and so full, that void was like filled with just love.
Right.
Our parents were there. You were there. Like, everybody was there. I would say, my sister-in-laws at the time, they were there. Everybody was there for me. So it was a transition from self to actually caring about somebody else.
Right.
Yeah.
So listen, so some people would say like the timing was off, but really like it was probably in good time. Like it wasn't necessarily, I would say, on time, you know what I mean? As it would relate to like, how things are supposed to happen in life. But it was in good time for where you were and what you probably needed in that moment, even though that seems like crazy because people will be like, well, you weren't married and this and that. But that's a whole nother.
It's definitely what I needed in that moment because, I think as a strong-minded individual, there's not many things that can change how you want to live your life. And so that variable and that factor of my amazing daughter, she completely was like,
She shifted your path.
She shifted me. She shifted me in a way, and not even my path, but my mind. My mind was like,
Ooh,
I know. Did
that's
you
such
like
a
that?
good.
You're
I
a vocal
wish.
coach. Did you like that?
Yeah, I could only like. That's what I can
Oh,
do, but I can't do the.
with the tongue.
I can't. That is such a wonder. I honestly have tried to do that, and like no lie, I was trying to get her youngest Liam to teach me,
Oh yeah.
and he was like, "You can't do it." Then he was like, "You too old to do it." I said, "No, that age ain't got nothing to do with me being able to do the cool the tongue trail." But I
Yeah.
cannot tongue trail anyway. That was very cool.
Yeah.
She kind of shifted your mindset,
Yeah.
having a baby, knowing that you're not only just responsible for you now, who was living her life
Living my life
like it was golden.
golden.
Okay. She came in and was like,
Yes.
"Hey, I need
Yeah.
to." So that
Slow
was like that
down.
was a refining moment right there for
Yeah,
you.
it was like, hey, slow down.
Yeah.
Like, bruh. She came out saying, bruh, slow down.
And she was so
Yeah.
beautiful. I got to be there
Yes.
for the birth, and if you've ever been able to experience a live birth, I think it's life changing.
Yeah.
Like I could not believe. I was like, "This is really happening," and I
Yeah.
mean, it was just a really beautiful experience. And so, thank you for that, by the way.
Oh, thank you for coming.
Oh yeah, wouldn't have missed it.
Thanks
Wouldn't
for
have missed
being
it.
there.
Anyway, so now though,
Yeah.
now you waited. So between McKenna and your next child, how many years was that?
Um, McKenna was born in 2005. Levi was born. Well, I had a miscarriage before Levi.
Okay.
So that was like 2014. I had a miscarriage,
Mhm.
but Levi was born in 2015.
Okay.
So
So there's a little gap
there's
between,
yeah.
your
Yes.
first child and your second child, and then the situation was different.
Yes.
So let's talk about the situation being different. We talked about being open and honest in this shirt, and did you be like, wait, what are you about to do? But
Golly.
it was difference between like even having the father of your child in your life.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So you
Mhm.
were married
Yes.
and you had your next child.
Yes.
So mentally,
Well, we went from 1 to 2,
yeah, that's right.
and then I went to 3.
That's
So,
right. Yes.
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 Little
yes.
Kyrie was 3 when he came into my life. And so
Mhm.
that was a different dynamic there. Whereas, McKenna was 10,
Yes.
and then I had little Kyrie, and then we had Levi. And I gave
Right.
birth to Levi. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Absolutely. So that blending families, which,
Yes.
we talked about like what that even looks like and
Yeah.
how you go into sharing, them having to share their parent when
Yeah.
they've been solely, it's just was you and McKenna rocking for some years.
Hard.
Hard. I mean, y'all
Hard.
had your own place, you were doing
Yeah.
your own thing and you
Mhm.
were, working and being the mom to her that she needed to be.
Yeah.
And then you introduce a man,
Yeah. Mhm.
that she would grow to like love and like
Mhm.
create this relationship with. And then he introduced you to little Kyrie. And so
Yes.
like that whole blending
Yeah,
happened.
it happened.
And I got to watch a lot of it.
Yeah.
And it was really good. Can you talk about one of the hardships about it and then something that's super positive about it?
I think the hardship is trying to show each child that you aren't in competition with the other parent.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when I say the other parent, I would mean like Kyrie's other parent and McKenna's other parent. So me and my husband, having to show that love without trying to act like we're trying to replace,
Mm-hmm.
the other parent. So I think that was a hardship because it's a fine line between trying to see how your child is processing these moments and being frustrated that the process is taking too long. Because you've already put in your mind, well, I'm about to have a family with this man. This is about to be my husband. So you better get used to it.
Yeah, you know,
Like a type deal. Like you put that in your mind a little bit, but then you have to realize like, bruh, you've been working on this. This is the first time that you have
children are
introduced
experiencing.
Yes,
Yeah.
you're experiencing someone else, and then looking at your parent like I have to share you with her and her.
Yeah.
Because that's a big difference, and so I think that navigation of that was really, it was tricky for a while. It was tricky because in my situation, McKenna didn't know who to trust.
Okay.
Because she didn't have that, example in that way. So it was like, okay, this guy is coming up. Like, who is this guy to my mom? Like, who is he? And, after she became, comfortable, it was a lot easier to explain what me and my husband had in mind Because we dated
Because
first, so we were trying to show them first to make, like this was going to work.
right.
But it was like, okay, well, this is your boyfriend, but now it's your husband?
Right, and then
You're gonna get
now
married?
I need to blend my life with him because I don't think that's thought about a ton
Yeah.
when people get into relationships with new people other than who they initially had their children with.
Yeah.
Regardless of what the relationship is,
Yeah.
you still know that your child has to become comfortable
Yeah.
to the point of where, okay, so now not only is he your husband, at some point I'm thinking you're expecting me to call him dad.
Yeah.
What about that process? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Whether I've always had someone to call dad, I think I really like the term of bonus, like
Yeah.
my bonus son, my bonus.
Yeah.
I like that in a sense because I feel like it doesn't seem like it's like an off-putting thing. Like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's my,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I like the idea of
Yeah.
that, but like allowing them to feel included in this
Yes.
bigger decision that you've made.
Right. And a
It's a huge
huge
decision.
decision
Yeah.
because you're expecting them to, almost cling on to a person that they don't really know yet.
Mm-hmm.
They'll never know them in the way that you know them.
That's true. Yeah.
The capacity that they'll know him will be a different role for them.
Right.
So, and I feel like that is almost more important in some senses, like that dad role
Mm-hmm.
that she needed to, be able to embrace, be able to
Yeah.
see and to
Yeah.
feel, that love. I feel like for her, when I decided to be with my husband, that was one of the things I was thinking of.
Okay.
I was thinking
Mhm.
of like these characteristics and these traits that my daughter would need to see
Mhm.
within a father
Right.
because I saw how he interacted with his son.
Mhm.
So when we came together, it's like now I have a son. I have a
Mhm.
son now and he has a daughter.
Mhm.
These are two different roles that we've never experienced either because,
Right.
growing up a son and growing up a daughter is different.
Yeah.
So, we had to take those hats and kind of just like, okay, this is a new hat we have to put on. And I always say this with each of my children, I mother them all 5 differently.
Mhm.
They are completely different individuals.
Yeah.
They have some similarities, but I can't mother Levi how I mother Lincoln. It
Right.
doesn't work like that.
Right. And that's a responsibility as we kind of look into how these roles change of like being a mother. You're a mother, but it's not a blanket role over all your kids. Like it's
Yeah.
just like I'm this type of mother and this is a mother. Now that is it a little extra? Absolutely. Is it easy? No. Is it worth it? Yes.
Yeah.
But that also comes from you being able to be well yourself.
Yes.
Because if I can't be who I need to be for me,
Yeah.
I definitely can't be who you, and you need me to be.
Yeah.
So it's just like being able to look at your children and say, like, I can't mother you the same. Like there are some core principles in there,
Yeah.
but all in all, when I deal with you one on one, it has to be differently. I've experienced the same with my 2 children. I have 2
Yes.
children. I have a daughter that's 14 and a son that's 17, and they are a lot alike, but they are very different as well.
Yeah.
And so the way I speak to them,
Yeah.
the way I have to break things down or talk to them if I'm concerned about something is different,
Yeah.
and me being able to do that is much respect to you doing
Mhm.
that 5 different ways for your children, understanding that it takes the work,
Yeah.
but it's worth it.
Yeah, it is.
It's worth it. We often say that children are so resilient, but I think oftentimes we think that it's resiliency, but really they don't have a choice.
Yeah.
It's like
They really don't have a
gotta
choice, and I
know.
believe that believing that they are completely resilient is a part of trauma.
Absolutely.
Because if you had to code change as many times as kids have to code change, whether they walk into a room, they got to perk up
Yeah.
because go speak to so and so, go give them a hug.
Yeah.
Like go do that. Like they have to
Oh,
perk up.
my
They have to turn
goodness.
into
Mhm.
somebody different, or if
Yeah.
somebody comes up to them and says, "You don't remember me?" Like you have to think about as an adult, if somebody walked up to you and said, "You don't remember me," you would look at them like they were boo boo.
Yeah, I mean,
What you mean? I don't remember. Why are you in my
like,
face?
No, obviously.
Why are you in my face?
Right.
These little people have big feelings. They are not much different than we are. And some of us,
No.
let's be clear.
Let's
Some of us
be-
stopped growing a long time ago, and you're still that little kid.
Yeah, and that's why you respond the way you respond.
And that's why you respond that way. So
Right.
it's like for my children, if they're not comfortable giving you a hug, they don't have to go give you a hug.
Mhm. Yeah.
If
it's
they're
that-
not, it's a comfort level because
Yeah.
if I'm not comfortable
Mhm.
giving people hugs all the time, why do I expect you to do this because you're a child.
Yeah. And I also think people use that children are so resilient to make themselves feel better about the decisions that they've made and the stuff they're putting their children through.
You better say it.
I really do. And I think it's a dangerous place, but it's that awareness, that self awareness that you need to be
Yeah.
like, should I put my child through this?
Yeah.
Or am I going to just, you know, just fall back on, oh, they're so resilient. They'll get through
they'll
it.
be fine.
Like, yeah.
That's a good point because the mother that I was with McKenna is not the mother that I am now. So my motherhood has evolved.
Yeah.
Whereas, with McKenna, I would say I wouldn't think to apologize to her for anything.
Mm.
These kids I have now, I'm like, you know what? I was wrong. I apologize.
Yeah.
Because there are moments in parenting that you were wrong.
Yes.
And for them, I feel like that helps them build character. When you are able to admit your wrongness to them and apologize. It's like, just because they're a child doesn't mean you're okay with just showing them like, I'm the authority.
And I'll do
And no matter
right.
what, I'm going to say what I need to say. And even if I am wrong, I'm still your mother.
Yeah, but that's an old school way of thought.
Yeah.
Because back in the day, you didn't correct. Our parents weren't correcting their parents.
Never.
Or they weren't like asking their parents why or what, because I mean, truth be told, like look back in generations and see where that came from. You ask questions, there's a consequence for asking questions.
Yes,
Don't ask no
absolutely.
questions.
Right.
And so then it kind of translates then into parenthood.
Yeah.
And then it's passed down generation to generation. Now we are at a point where I believe because there are so many options, our young people are so privy to so much information and so many scenarios that they're not just going to take your word for it.
Right.
I think I first realized it when my daughter, I tried to do the whole, and this was years ago, I tried to do the because I said so.
Yeah.
And she was like, what kind of answer is that? It was almost like, make it make sense, Mom.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Because you said so. I'm like, yes, because I said so. She's
Yeah.
like, but why?
Yeah.
I was like, because I said so. And she really allowed me to know, babe, that's not a reason. I mean, I know, but if my mom said it, that was a show enough reason. That was a beginning, middle, and an end.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's all I needed. But now, it is just being more mindful that our children are very smart.
Yes.
They are equipped. They were born for this time.
Yeah.
For a reason.
Yeah.
I don't believe they're wired the same as like our parents were, our grandparents were, or even we were.
Yeah.
There are things that they come into an understanding of, like just for example, like technology wise, your children had iPads at 2. Like everybody gets an iPad at 2. I'm still trying to work an iPad. But you know what I'm saying? Like it just goes to show that it matters. It matters to parent differently.
Intentionally.
And intentionally.
Yeah.
And put some work into it. That's why everybody doesn't need the job.
Right. And no, everybody does not need the job. Like that is more true than wow. Yeah. Everybody doesn't need that job.
Everybody
and
doesn't.
it's unfortunate at some spaces, but honestly, the best thing you can do is just to give that responsibility to someone else.
Here's the thing. More times than not, you have the capability to have the job.
Yeah.
But whether or not the requirements are there.
Yeah.
And it's not to say like, oh, you don't deserve. What it is if we were more mindful and we were taught something in school, even since we are so ingrained into the educational system, to teach you how to self-manage and how to deal with yourself and be responsible for yourself, then you can bring someone else in the world that you can also teach. But what is happening is people are not responsible for themselves and they bring these children into the world. They don't understand how to manage themselves.
Yeah.
And then you've got to try to show them how to manage them when they're watching you, because the biggest thing our children do is they watch.
Yeah.
You can say things all day, but they are watching your actions. They're watching what you do, and they are looking at the results from what you do.
Yep.
And that is what is teaching them.
Yep.
You can speak all the other stuff till you're blue in the face.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to it, they're watching you. And so there are some tools that you need prior to having the responsibility of another human life.
Yeah. It's crucial that you do that. Like I said, the parent that I was with McKenna, there's things that I wish I could take back. There's ways that I just saw things, even picked up, not even from my parents, but picked up things of this is how I'm going to do it. I've told her this, we've talked. I was like, I grew up with you. I was like, in me growing up as a young parent, you are making these decisions that you feel like, oh man, I just got to do it because I'm a parent. Not
Mhm.
because you've had any guidance,
Yeah.
not because you had any insight to what you're doing,
Mhm.
but now that you've had this role thrown on you,
Right.
it must come like this.
Yeah.
And it's not like that. It's really not like that. That's the same thing with marriage. Like you were going
Exactly.
to say, that's the same thing with
Yeah.
marriage. You just think, oh, let's get these rings. Now we're going to be this. Oh, we're all going to be hugged up. We committed. We da da da
No,
da. We all this. It doesn't work like
it
that. You
doesn't.
have to put in the work for the role that you are in, for the
Yeah.
role that you've applied for, the one that you got the job for, just like
Mhm.
anything else, you have to put in the work. So, mothering, it can be very, very hard.
Mhm.
It can be very tricky at times
Mhm.
because a lot of the times, like my boys, they just see me. And my husband is very present, but they have an attachment towards
Mhm.
me that it's like, if I'm just standing in the room,
Mhm.
I have one on my leg, one on my arm,
Yeah.
one on my back.
Mhm.
And I adore that. I love that because I know there's going to be a time where they're going to be kind of kicking it by themselves. And I'm going to be like, oh, where are my babies? Where are my babies? But it's like that whole entire influence. Like you said,
Mhm.
they're watching that influence that they're seeing. Let's talk about really quick the love languages of kids because my son Lincoln is so touchy feely. He's a touchy feely person, period. Like
But for
he,
you though, really, like,
yeah, for, oh,
cause
that's
it's for
true.
you. I
That's
think that's
true.
the cool thing about Lincoln. Like, I mean, I want to get all the auntie squeezies that I do, but he's more like, no, like you're not my mom. Like, don't give me a hug, don't kiss me on the cheek. I'm like, okay, cool, like I get it. But he's like that with you.
Yeah, yeah.
He's not
That's
really
true.
like
That's
that with
true.
other people.
I didn't even notice that. Like, that's
But that's
funny,
what he
but
needs from
he's,
you.
yeah.
What I love about that is I don't think your boys are gonna grow up and have, like, some of these issues that some guys have. Something came to my mind. I'm like, "I can't say that, I won't say that," but
Ah, oh, Lord.
like, they're just grown little boys
Yeah,
because then they needed the love and that nurturing from their mom. They
yeah,
needed to hang on the leg for a little bit. They
yeah,
needed that, and they never got it,
yeah.
and so then they expect those things to come from the woman that they marry,
Mm,
and then you're like, "Oh, I have my own kids. You can't be my child too. I need you to be husband,
yeah.
but I can't be husband because I still need a mommy." But anyway, that's a whole nother subject. But when we talk
Dang.
about the love language
Yeah,
between kids
yeah,
with children,
yeah.
same thing. Like my Avery, she likes stuff. She likes things. You know what I
Yes,
mean? I think it
my
started with those
girl.
darn surprise egg videos. You guys remember those back in the day?
Yeah,
Where the kids would just literally watch YouTube and just watch somebody open up eggs and there was just something in it.
yeah.
But anyway, my little love loves to get packages. She loves to get gifts.
Yes.
She's named very properly. Her name is Avery Elizabeth. So if you need to know where she gets the
I love
all this
gifts too,
extra stuff.
Avery. I love gifts too.
So, but she loves that. She loves to cuddle. Like
Mhm.
last night, she's just like, I want a mommy cuddle.
Yeah.
And then she's like, and I want a little mommy money. I said, okay,
The cuddle
but
and the
yeah,
money.
but she's
Yeah.
like, oh, I just want to cuddle. And she's my one.
Yeah.
She's my one even at 14 that will hold my hand in public.
Yeah.
Because she did it at 12 and 13, but I'm like 14. Surely we walk into Marshall's. She's not. And so we're walking to Marshall's like, Mom. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh.
That's
And
so
I'm like, I'll
sweet.
hold your hand like as
Yeah.
long as you want me to. But
Yeah.
that's how she is. And then Austin, he is just a sweetheart.
Yeah.
Like I can feed him. Like
Yeah.
when I cook or whatever, he's
Yeah.
like all about it. I'm like, I'll cook for you anytime.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
love
he
mama's
going
food. And he's like, Mom, could you make this? And I'm like, yes, And he's so passionate, so
Yeah.
kind,
Yeah. And I think a lot of times our kids, they kind of help heal some things within us. Because as I'm not a touchy-feely person, my children are.
Yes.
And so it's like, because they are, I am.
Mm-hmm.
And it changes the way that I view, physical touch. It
Yeah.
changes the way that I view that because it's like I can see it in them like yearning.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I know that I can help with that. So,
Mhm.
hugging them for 15 seconds longer.
Yeah.
Then, my body wants to just chill. I just want to lay down. But just
And they wanna
hugging
be on
them a
your
little bit
head. Yeah.
longer or, giving them, all the kisses. Like I have to give my sons, so I do 15 kisses at night. So 5 kisses all over their face, each and every one of them. They all love it. They're like, oh, I need 5 kisses. I need 5 kisses. And they're getting that from mommy and daddy. And they want that type of love and that
Mhm.
feel. And for me, I can say that's something that I personally have struggled with in my
Mhm.
life, like getting close to somebody in that other than my husband, but like getting close to somebody and letting somebody get close to me, I've been like, like I'm like real nice nasty. I'm like, no, wait a minute,
Like, back up.
But yeah, so with them doing that, I was like, Lord, you knew exactly what you were doing when you placed these babies.
If you don't think that we are parenting smaller versions somewhat of ourselves to be able to help heal ourselves, and I don't know what you think. Like, look at your children.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we laugh about it. Like, don't be surprised when they pull a you on you. It's true. Like, some things that my daughter will say to my husband is so funny because they are a lot alike. And he's like, what you say? I was like, she said something you would say. Yeah. Now go ahead. Now what? You know? And so it's just, we laugh about it, but it's so true. I think when you hone in though on that and understand like, hey, this is a part of me in some way. What do I need to give? Do I have it in me to give them what I needed in that moment so that they can surpass, so that we can both grow?
Yes.
We can, because it's not by happenstance. Like, there are some things that Avery will do that I remember doing at the exact time. She has no clue that I was into this, no clue that I thought the same thing about. And and I'm just like, thank you, God. Like, I know, God, this is you. Like, I understand this is you now. Don't let me overlook it. Don't let me begrudge it. Don't let me feel away. Don't let me be jealous. Like, oftentimes she does some things that I only wish I could have done. And God's saying that was in you too. She just has the guts to do it.
These kids have the guts to do it. Yes, these kids have the guts to do it. And I will, like, that's my testimony as well. They do stuff that I was like, I was loving that. I wanted to do that. I thought about this. And they're actually doing it, and helping them live that out is so rewarding.
But that's you graduating then. Nope. That's you graduating. That's you getting it, because there are parents who are jealous of their kids and can't understand why their children are doing this, and they couldn't do it. They miss it. They did not pass the test. They're going to have to see it again.
Wow.
But the ones who see it and then embrace it and push it forward, you're going to. I told Avery, because she'll laugh. She's like, you want to do this? I'm like, I'm doing it. And I'm telling you, because there is nothing that you can succeed in and do that I can't also grab onto and know. I held you for 9 months. Yes. You know, so I love that. I love celebrating motherhood. I love celebrating this journey, that it does not have to be hard, especially when you have a sister that you can talk to about other parents, to just talk you through it and just know, like, hon, we want you to win. You are winning. You are winning. You know, I always talk about you being an amazing mom, but
thank you.
Thank you. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and we are looking forward to even more. Yes. Make sure you continue to just drop us topics. We will talk about what you want to hear. Yes. And a little bit about what we want to say. You know,
and call your sister up if she's a mother and tell her how good she's doing. Call her up. Tell her how good she's doing. Speak well of her. Mention her in the comments, whatever you see.
Yes. Tag a great mom in the comments.
Yeah, tag a great mom in the comments. Just uplift each other. Let's uplift in this season so that we can be better in the next season as well. Guys, this is Liz.
And Joy.
Have a great day.
So until next time, live in truth, love with intention, and lead by example.
Stay connected with us on our social media platforms, Sister Chats Pod, for more inspiration and behind the scenes fun.
Remember, you have the power to shape your life and the lives of those around you. This is Joy.
And this is Liz, signing off.